Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick. So I take it only 50% of us are actually excited about this.
I am, sir. I am, sir. I'm very excited.
I've got to somehow sell Simon on this.
Well, you did show me the trailer.
I did, yeah.
When,
it did
when
look
we popped
good.
over a couple of weeks ago, and it did look good. And I am being taken to see it next on Sunday, actually.
Very nice.
So I am going to see it in an Everyman theatre with a nice big relaxing chair and a huge pint of beer.
Very nice.
He won't make it till takeoff. He'll be fast asleep, feet up, dribble coming down the side of his chin. That's it. That's why he's going. Comfy nap.
I need a nice kit.
I've seen a lot of films at the cinema over the years, and there've only been a few landmark experiences. And I would, much as the story was absolutely pants, and I'm not necessarily looking forward to the follow-up, I would say Avatar was one of them. Seeing Avatar in 3D was one of those experiences. And even for those that don't rate the first film and have no particular love going into Top Gun Maverick, it is a hell of an experience. I was lucky enough to get to see the charity premiere, which was the same time as the royal premiere. We got footage from the red carpet and interviews from the main cast and the director, which ended in Cruise, which was particularly interesting because I guess he's pushing 60 now, and they talked to him about the movie, and he no longer came across as a film star. He came across as a filmmaker. More so possibly even than Joe Kosinski, the director. Cruise talked in considerable depth about how he prepared him and the rest of the cast for the film, how he took everybody out, because he flies his, I think he's got a prop plane, which is seen in the movie, and he's a really good pilot in that. So to prepare them for going up in supersonic fighter planes, he took them all out in that. He told them how they have to look towards the camera and how they have to behave towards the camera whilst in flight, because it's a part of the process and it has to work right for editing. And then once they were comfortable with that, they took them out in the proper planes. I have to say, watching the end results, it's a hell of an experience. It's, as you can see from the Zoom background, I mean, they put you in the plane. I saw it in IMAX, and I would make a series of recommendations if you're going to go and watch this movie, which I would recommend everybody does. Firstly, they should probably rewatch Top Gun if they're not familiar with it, Simon. It is a direct continuation, and the director, Joe Kosinski, has gone to great lengths to make it look and feel like a Tony Scott movie with modern filmmaking capabilities and modern sensibilities. You know, it doesn't completely look like that, but you know, the sunsets are there and the music's there and the
all you need
aircraft porn is there. The other thing is its core rests upon events that took place in the first movie, and so it is much like a lot of films we've seen. I would look to things like Ghostbusters, Afterlife, but it's very nostalgic, but they find a way of repeating almost all the same beats, except twinged with a hint of melancholy because of what happened in the first movie, which still haunts Maverick in this one.
What, losing that beach volleyball game, that second set?
Yeah.
Is it that haunts him?
It is.
So.
Do
you know what?
He's running out of baby oil.
That's it. His regret is, I can't believe I went to Kelly McGillis's house and I didn't have a shower. That's his regret. That's what's haunted him for 30 years.
It was, yes, it was. It's quite impressive how they managed to do everything they did in the first movie again, only with more gravitas. I don't want to spoil anything, but basically almost everything that happens in the first movie happens again but happens with some melancholy, poignant twinge to it that gives it a heart. Cruise's aces. And if you're forgetting all of that because you didn't come here for the story and the characters and the performances and all the rest of it, I don't think, at least in our lifetimes, we'll get a spectacle like this again. I don't think we had anything since Top Gun. I know there were other sort of knockoffs, and I know we got stealth on the CG front, but no one's had the permission perhaps to get in planes and do this kind of stuff, and maybe no one's had the balls to do it. But having Cruise sit in a plane while it's pulling off some crazy maneuvers, it's quite an experience. And kind of midway through the film, there's the scene which is probably the highlight of the film for me, and you can see the punishment he's taking doing those moves. Even though he's not flying the thing, it looks like he's flying it, and he sure as hell is going through the speed of the turns, and you're right there for the ride, on the clock for the ride. I think that it's spectacular, and I recommend everyone see the first one again so they tie it in nicely, and go and see this on the biggest IMAX screen you can find.
Can't you just sit closer?
Yeah, maybe you could, but really, go see it smack in the center, biggest IMAX you find. You'll be there in the movie. It's really fabulous. I'm trying to double up because I got already booked to see it another 4 times.
Wow.
And I'm trying to get some of the people to go together, because I think I can do maybe 3 more, but 4 is maybe pushing it.
Kaz Harlow, brought to you by Paramount Pictures.
Tell you what. Anyway, yes, highly recommend it. Absolutely fantastic.
It's
and
interesting.
everything.
I didn't think much of the first film, as I just said before we come on air. Whenever it was, I said it. I never really did. It was okay. Too cheesy, too, I don't know, daft, too 80s. But I guess that was the whole point.
Yes,
What?
It is.
Yes, it was.
It is all of these things.
I mean, that line, "You can be my wingman anywhere." I mean, my God, that's just unbelievable.
I feel the need for speed.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of respect for it now, though, because I watched, not in preparation for this, but in knowing that I was going to go and see the film, an internet "what the hell happened to this movie" video talking about the making of it. So it's done independently. It's not a Paramount production, done by someone else. And they went through the ringer to get this thing made. It was quite a feat to get it made. And in fact, because I mean, Tony Scott had his ideas of what he wanted to do. Don Simpson and Brockheimer, they had their ideas of what they wanted to do. The Navy had their ideas of what they wanted them to do, and to mesh those 3 things together to get the film made. Because Cruise was a nobody at that time; he was just coming up. Wasn't he?
It's really interesting. Yeah.
He was just coming off. It was Legend, wasn't it? That was the film you just made prior to that. So he was virtually a nobody.
Yeah.
And he commanded $1 million, and he got it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I digress. But anyway, they got this thing made, and they had to use all of the aerial footage, everything, because there wasn't enough coverage to get a full film.
Yeah.
And they tried to do what they've got this time, which is them in the cockpit showing them going all the G's. They tried to do that 30 years ago, but they couldn't do it. The camera technology wasn't there, and everyone was puking up in the planes, so they couldn't use any of it. So they had green screen stuff. I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was all green screen stuff because they couldn't use real footage. So this time they obviously trained them properly, put them in the suits, got them ready, get out there. We're going to show you.
They look like they are suffering. I'm not kidding. I mean, Cruise looks like he is taking a degree of punishment, but some of the cadets, they're not cadets, they're all Top Gun graduates, but like some of them look like they're in like a Scream movie, They're
I can believe it.
suffering in that. You
I
can
can believe
mostly just see like eyes popping out of skulls. But yeah, and you can visibly see a bit like I think in Moonraker when Roger Moore gets
Yeah.
spun around the centrifuge, you can see the skin going back on their faces as they're pulling G's. I mean, it's quite the feat. But anyway, yes, I can imagine the first movie was a hell of an accomplishment, and I put it in the review. But I found it interesting that he was a nobody, Cruise was, and it made him.
It did.
And yet Top Gun Maverick wouldn't have been made without him. You know, he's come
I agree
back
with
and
that.
he's gone, I want to be in a plane. I want to do this. I mean, I'm very surprised that he didn't persuade someone that he could fly the actual fighter planes. But to be honest, the things that he does in it will wow you. I mean, it's a hell of a feat. And you know, space next, maybe. But I, you know, the guy just doesn't stop. Anyway, Top Gun, you can see the original. It's on Sky. I think it's on Sky. It is on Sky, but you probably want to pick up the disc. I would say you can win it through the podcast competition, or I think it's in HMV's 50% offer at the moment. There'll be a bunch of deals surrounding Top Gun 2 coming out, but I would recommend seeing it because it's in. I would recommend picking up the disc because it's 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, looks and sounds fantastic. It's the best way that you could possibly go about revisiting it. And it, quite honestly, versus the Sky feed, it makes it seem a whole lot less dated, proper filmic, and just a gorgeous watch. So I would recommend hunting down Top Gun 4K before the must-see event of this week. I think the first showings are tomorrow or the day after, maybe. It's officially out Friday, this coming Friday.
Yeah, they'll be out on Thursday, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, it is weird, isn't it? I mean, we used to saturation of, you know, Marvel trailers popping up every now and again. But this feels next level. Cruise has been everywhere. You know, it is. It is. I mean, you cannot move for Top Gun smacking you in the face at this moment in time, which is great. I mean, even my mum and dad said, "Oh, have you seen this new film?" And I went, "Yeah, Top Gun." Yeah. I mean, if my mum and dad know about it, then honestly, someone in the marketing department is doing something right. But this really does feel like proper event stuff. It's gonna explode in the box office.
Yes, I mean, my mum and dad want to see it. They're considerably older than me, and at the other end of the spectrum, I'm taking the kids along. So I'm trying to double down and take both their grandparents and my kids. And that's another interesting
Get them to take each other, Kaz. You don't have to go.
No, of course I got to go and see it again, just to supervise. That's another thing. I got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. I had to see the film first because obviously it's a 12, but it is, in my mind, very safe for kids. Much more so than the first film because
it was all a bit too erotic, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's some of that, and there's
about erotic as a wet fish. Come off it.
The second film is it's probably well anyway it's comfortably okay for them. They're going to find the sequences tense, but I wouldn't want them to miss out on seeing that at the big screen. But yes, it's a good family film, I think, and one hell of an event.